You trying to score a medal?
Hey, you got one too.
I threw it away. I don't want anything to do with this war.
Listen, man, I forgot how good that this Gundam was, man. I forgot how good Thunderbolt was. I haven't seen it in a while. It's been a little minute. You know, I watched this because I walked around my job. You know, I was kind of being negative with the first video with, Gen Z doesn't like Gundam. That just wasn't entirely true. It just, I haven't seen Gundam pop up, in any of the talks with like my favorite YouTubers to watch or anything. So that's all that was. So I walked around my job and I asked a couple of Gen Zers, younger people that I actually work with at the factory, what was their favorite Gundam. And then I looked at some of the comments, and a lot of people, a lot of Gen Zers really like Thunderbolt. I'm like, okay, I remember that. I remember liking it. I remember liking it a lot, but I haven't seen it in probably around since it came out. So I turned it on, dubbed. Amazing. I like the art, the design, but the animation was crazy. Like, I can't believe how crazy the animation was. I mean, it wasn't that long ago, but still, like, it's better than a lot of animation done today. And I know it was like in short little like burst of 15 minutes, I want to say. I can't remember how long. It was a short run time when it premiered. Then they compacted it into a movie, which is how I watched it. Oh my God. I'm gonna try to keep it spoiler free for some people who haven't seen it, but Thunderbolt is amazing. It's might go on my like, it's a movie. It can't go on my top 5 for series, but it's up there. Like, is as far as like some of my favorite Gundam media. It is. You see, like, you have people, and I respect them. I had somebody in my comments who's like a super Gundam nerd. I'm a nerd, but a nerd in a different way, like RX, 75, 76, like they know all of the numbers to the guns. Like, I know a few. I don't know them like that. I just call them, the Epion, the Death Scythe. You know what I mean? The Victory Gundam, the Freedom. Like, I just know them like I'm a nerd, but it's like I don't know them all like that, and that's just how I'm a fly by in these videos. I'm from Southwest Detroit, man. You feel me? So we gonna do it. We just hanging out. That's how I'm doing these videos, man. It's just I'm really looking for other people who love Gundam as much as I do. Like, the stories, the drama, the war aspect is really what I love about Gundam, and like the narrative. I'm really a sucker for like the backstories of the setting that we've been put in, and like things like that, or the little subplots. Like subplots I'm really a sucker for. Like in this movie, it was a tiny little subplot of, oh, this is they from side 4, and I remember side 6, we know what happened with that. Like, it was a little with the Moors. Like I said, I'm gonna try not to spoil, but like the Moors are like black people, black Arabics in real life, and they kind of did that with that. You know what I mean? Like, one of the main characters was from there, and he was a Moor, and he's tan skin, little fro. He was actually my favorite character. Lorenz, him and Daryl Lorenz, and then you had Eel Fleming was the main protagonist. I think actually is, but usually I like that character. The exciting, high head, but hard to go. But like, for some reason, Daryl was doing it for me in this, and I felt like that when I first watched it. Daryl to me was the better character. He was this solemn, like, stoic, just soldier, and just moving with life, kind of like how I am. He just like moves with the punches. Like, spoiler, I'm spoiling a little bit. He lost his legs, man. His crew was called what are they called? Not the Living Dead. I think that is what it's called. But they're like, limbs are missing, but they're able to put together, metal arms and joints, and have them move so they can still pilot Gundams. And I don't know, he just was a better character to me, even though he barely spoke. He wanted his revenge, and they both couldn't stand each other, and that was like part of the main story. It wasn't really a hopeful outlook story. It just was grim, gritty, dark, and we want each other out of there. That was really what the point in war. You had children coming in on Fleming's side. He like, why did y'all send me these kids just to, be destroyed? Now I gotta have this on my conscience. Which his girlfriend Claudia, that's what she was going crazy for. And then on Daryl's side, he had a girl. It wasn't necessarily his girlfriend, but he had a girl on his side too, Carla. And what was so great about the dynamics between those two couples is, in a sick, twisted way, Daryl and Carla, they didn't really like each other or respect anything that each other did. He kind of respected her, but like their relationship kind of grew along as the movie in a weird, odd way. And then the other relationship with Claudia and Fleming, it kind of waned and it kind of got I don't want to spoil too much, but it kind of rocked away in a devastating way, and it just was showing like what war does. It brings people together in a weird, twisted, crazy way, and breaks people up in a harsh, dark, gritty way. My favorite mobile suit in this movie was the Psycho Zaku. Like, I usually don't like the clunky. Usually I like a Gundam, but I usually don't like the big, bulky mobile suits. But the Psycho Zaku was cool. The Psycho Zaku design was cool, and it was a hard pick because I like three. I like the Alice Gundam, and then I like the full body Gundam. I think the full body might be my second. What's crazy is I usually like the sleek version. Like the Alice is usually like my favorite kind of mobile suit. You know what I mean? Like a sleek mobile suit that they look sweet maneuvering in, especially in space. It gives this glare off. Whenever they're fighting. In their scenes. Fight scenes and choreography, it just looks better. But for some reason, man, the Psycho Zaku was just cool. Like I said, I really just like Daryl's character, who piloted, the Zaku. He was with Zeon, and Daryl was with the Federation / the Moors. And the Moors had problems with them because they're elites. And it's funny because, like I said, the Moors were 10, and like in real life, and the Federate, the higher ups over there were blonde hair, blue eyed. What I'm saying is just, you know what I mean? They were saying they only got their positions because they were elite. So, and it's like I said, it's the same hotel with Xeon and the Federation, and also Amuro Ray and Char and all of that is going on at the same time. This is happening. It just adds on to the story for me. But like I said, it's just a gritty tale, and the music is involved in this story, which I remember being decent. But like I said, getting older, watching it back again, the music, it was like a Goodfellas movie. It was like I was watching Goodfellas. You know what I mean? Like, how Goodfellas, it plays the old school music, Be My Baby and all of that. Like, that's what I felt like watching this. Like, they put it together. Like, whoever created and directed it was a fan of Goodfellas. Johnny Young Bosch is I was about to call him Carlo. Daryl Lorenz's character's voice actor. Maybe that's why I like him, and he had the tennis game with the fro, but maybe that's why I like him. And then E.O. Fleming, he was voiced by, I think my man's name is Max Middleton, or Middleman. He's the voice of Satan, is how I knew who he was. I'm like, that's Satan's voice, but like, two good voice actors, two lead men. Johnny Young Bosch, to me, is the best voice actor, and I've been watching him. Like I said, I'm a millennial since he was the Black Ranger. He was the frog, made the joke in the Power Rangers movie. I've been a fan of him since. I think his Ichigo was perfect. To me, he's the best protagonist voice for anime, period, easily. He's the Brad Pitt, you know what I'm saying, Robert De Niro, whatever your favorite actor is, to me, for voice acting in anime. It was one of the grittiest, one of the, like, up there with Victory Gundam. Like, it was dark. It might be the darkest. You know what I mean? Like, it just wasn't a series. So it's like, when you think a series is so much, like the original was dark, 1979 original, Mobile Suit Gundam 0079. That one is pretty gritty when you really look at it. If you really go back and watch it, it is pretty dark. But this one is I don't know, maybe because it was animated so good, man, and you can just see everything. But it's up there, man. I'm top 3 probably, and all of Gundam is dark. Good, man. Classic. I deem it a classic. I can't believe I thought back on it. It's like, yeah, I liked it. I love it. You know what I mean? I love this movie. This is only part 1. I can't wait to watch part 2. And this is, like I said, all the Gen Zs. It's not every Gen Z, but like most of the ones that I talked to, it was their favorite one. I would have thought it would have been Iron Blood Orphans. to be honest. Like, but they kept this one up. I thought it would have been that. You had a few even who like '08 MS team, which is wild. But I guess I love stuff, and I don't know this one. And why were the two women so beautiful? I guess that was kind of the point, was to make them beautiful, because it's like when Daryl came to like the end of his like story or journey or whatever in the movie, he kind of like thought about, I don't want to spoil it. Anyway, he looked at Carla in a different light, and it's like it was right there in front of my face type of thing. And with Fleming, he only felt alive, in battle. But, at the end of it, when he's alone, is like he asks about, her. He asks about Claudia, and it's like that's who you should have been with. It's like the movie The Patriot. I don't know if anybody's seen it. Mel Gibson was trying to tell his son, played by Heath Ledger, you don't want to go to war. He's like, yes, we do. We got to fight. And then when he finally found a woman he loved, he understood, I don't want to go to war. I just, I'd rather be loving my woman. You know what I mean? And he's like, now I understand you, Father. And that's kind of what they're, to me, how I looked at it, how I interpreted it, like how they felt about it. They should have been, loving, should have been seeing what was right in front of their face. Oh my God. Like I said, I can't wait to watch part 2. I think I'm going to go back and watch a lot of these Gundams and realize it was better. I think that's what it is. My generation just had it so good, we didn't realize it was just classic being dropped after classic back to back, man. I think the scariest, I don't want to say scariest, I think the thing that disturbed me the most was the children, and how happy they were to be a part of it, and what happened to them, and how they got confused. It was it was like horrible. The ending fight was amazing. Daryl, I forgot to mention, his limbs, he's like, he can't really move at first in the movie, and he's like the ace sniper. And E.O. Fleming is a ace pilot. So you got two aces, which is like, it's always a hit and miss with fans, because some fans just want to see like the regular pilots go ahead to them on the journey becoming ace. But like, I don't mind it, man. I don't mind both, or all the pilots that we're looking at being the ace pilots. It's like, that's why we're looking at the show. We want to see the special people in the universe. But his sniper skills is cold. The fights are all great. They don't do anything corny to me. I think everything is done very well. I think they took their time on the movie. That's all I got, man. I'm glad, I talked to the people at work that I did and rewatched this just so I can talk about it. Like I said, and I watched Big Micah, who y'all recommended. He's nice. But he's technical. He's one of those technical people who break it down from each suit to the name to what year, what model. It's like, I like that sometimes, but not all the time. I want somebody to be better than me, but kind of loose like I am. Like, I just want to, hear the feeling like Hero Yui.
I said this before. The only way to live a good life is to act on your emotions.
All for, your feelings and emotions. It's the instinct, was what was, what he said. And yeah, man, just give me more, man. Give me more criticism. Give me more Gundam. Tell me anything y'all want to tell me, man. I'm loving these conversations, man. Zig Zion.